Senator Ted Cruz was caught trashing Donald Trump and JD Vance while speaking to his donors in a secret recording that was obtained by Axios. Now, Cruz slammed Trump's tariff policies and even went after JD Vance and says that he would fire staffers if they repeat something that Trump is in favor of. He also called JD Vance a pawn of Tucker Carlson, which I think is interesting. But Cenk, what are your initial thoughts?
Okay, two cents here. One is, isn't it amazing how all these greasy politicians say something completely different off air than they do on air?
It's not amazing. It's the most expected thing imaginable. Yeah. It's the most usual thing possible.
So you're going to see more of that here, and especially from Ted Cruz, not surprising, the king of slime. But the second thing is the JD Vance angle. Why now all of a sudden I'm starting to see Israel First be discomforted by JD Vance?
No,
but
don't
hold on. That's why I'm saying
he's a little bitch boy for Israel.
No, I got you, but that's why it's interesting. So what in the world is going on with JD Vance?
He's a bitch boy for Israel.
Okay, let's do this.
They're all lying. Don't let anyone launder JD Vance's reputation as some isolationist or anti-war person. He's not, okay? He's a puppet of Peter Thiel, Palantir, all of the people who are profiting off of the mass slaughter campaign in Gaza. So don't make that mistake. We'll get to that in a minute.
I have a theory on that, but go ahead.
Okay, my theory is everyone's lying about him being an isolationist. Okay, with that in mind, the recordings, which are nearly 10 minutes long in total, were given to Axios by an anonymous Republican source. Now, the conversations allegedly took place in mid-2025, and they provided an unvarnished look at how Ted Cruz is positioning himself as a traditional free trade, pro-interventionist Republican in the lead up to 2028. Homeboy thinks he's gonna run for president again.
Oh yeah, he's definitely gonna run.
Hilarious.
And he's groveling to Israel first, and he's gonna collect an enormous amount of money. And I'm gonna love seeing it wasted.
So in one part of the recordings, Cruz recounted an explosive conversation he had with Trump regarding his tariff policies. And so he shares this with the group of donors, saying, he tells them that after Trump introduced the tariffs in early April 2025, Cruz and a few other senators had a call with Trump in which they urged him to stand down. Cruz says the lengthy call, which stretched past midnight, did not go well, and that Trump was yelling and cursing. Trump was in a bad mood. I've been in conversations where he was very happy. This was not one of them. And according to Axios, Cruz says he told Trump, by the way, I don't believe that Cruz is the tough guy he's making himself out to be in front of his donors, but this is what he told donors he said to Trump. Mr. President, if we get to November of 2026 and people's 401ks are down 30% and prices are up 10 to 20% at the supermarket, we're going to go into election day, face a bloodbath. You're going to lose the House, you're going to lose the Senate, you're going to spend the next 2 years being impeached every single week. To which Trump allegedly responded with a simple, F you, Ted. Does anyone really believe that Ted Cruz has the cojones to push back against Trump on literally anything? Literally anything, because I don't believe it. So he is telling his donors who probably hate Trump's tariff policy, oh, but I'm fighting for you. I told Trump what's what. But you didn't do that. I don't believe it for a second.
That's interesting, I hadn't even thought about that. Because it sounds believable, like Cruz would kiss the ass of his donors, and his donors were not happy with Trump's tariffs, etc. But I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
He might have got the best of both worlds. When he's on the call with Trump, he can say, "Oh, Daddy, it's okay, Daddy. I'm on your side, Daddy. Where's your boots, Daddy? I want to clean them." And then he gets on the phone with the donors and he's like, "Oh my God, all my mommies and daddies are here." So, and what's interesting about the donor calls, guys, by the way, also on the Democratic side, there's two issues they are super consistent on, never waver from, corporate Democrat or corporate Republican. One is we will serve corporate rule with complete loyalty. Chamber of Commerce, whatever you need, business interests, giant multinational corporations, I will screw over the average American 1,000 times to help you. And the second one, of course, is Israel. Oh, we serve almighty Israel. Screw America. What do you need? We'll take it from the stupid Americans that we've tricked into believing that we're their representatives and give it all to you. As long as you keep the good old bribes coming, and that's what, this is Ted Cruz begging for bribes.
That's exactly right. That's why I think he's just playing both sides. And I don't believe for a second he had this like, ooh, heated conversation with Trump. And during part of the conversation, Cruz jokingly added that if any of his staffers ever referred to Trump's unveiling of tariffs as Liberation Day, they'd be fired right there on the spot. This guy is such a slimy politician. Cruz also told donors about battling the White House to accept a trade agreement with India. When a donor asks who in the administration is resistant to reaching such accords, Cruz mentions White House economic advisor Peter Navarro, which is believable, Vance, and sometimes Trump. Okay, so let's get to Cruz and how he goes after JD Vance in particular, because he didn't just trash Donald Trump, he brought up Vance a lot, according to Axios. He accused Vance of advancing Tucker Carlson's anti-interventionist foreign policies. He said, quote, Tucker created JD, JD is Tucker's protege, and they are one and the same. Okay. What I know without a shadow of a doubt is that Peter Thiel created JD Vance. Peter Thiel is a Zionist. There has never been any real indication from JD Vance to prove to me that he is anti-war or anti-interventionist. I don't know where this comes from. I don't know who made this up, and I don't know why it catches on. But JD Vance will bow his head and do as he's told if he becomes the next president. I guarantee it. I would literally bet everything I own, including the shirt off my own back, on that. So like, where does that come from?
People.
Okay, well, I'd put another shirt on, but
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? Like, where did it come from? Where's the evidence? I want to see something substantive that proves to me that JD Vance wouldn't be the same warmonger as everyone else in the Trump administration right now.
So what they are doing, and this gets to my JD Vance theory, is every time there's a new bombing, they make sure to leak that JD Vance was hesitant, right?
Oh, wow,
Like,
hesitant, woo.
He gave a note of caution.
Oh, note of caution.
Okay, so now why are they doing that? They're setting that up so that after the wars turn into disasters and ice in the streets turn into disaster, etc., they can say, no, remember that Axios report by Barack Ravid saying that JD Vance was a slightly hesitant?
Yeah.
So now we need you to fall for this trick again, okay? And so, look, they do this every freaking time, again on both sides, but But we saw JD Vance in the Petri dish.
Yep.
We saw when he was polling at 1% and Peter Thiel came in and squeezed a tube full of $10 million into that Petri dish.
Yep.
And then Vance blossomed, etc. So if there is a secret plan and he's actually not pro-Israel and not this and not that and not pro-corporate rule, that's impossible. Totally impossible. I mean, you're not going to hand the country over to Silicon Valley? Of course you are.
I mean,
that's your daddy and mommy, right? But okay. If you have a secret plan, brother, no. Don't tell me 3 years later, tell me now, okay? Or, I get some political machinations after the midterm, I don't know. But what I'm not going to accept is after everything is said and done and you were vice president, then you come and go, I secretly disagreed with everything Trump did.
Yeah,
no way.
Kick rocks, don't believe you at all. And in fact, I mean, look, which industry aside from defense contractors, the typical defense contractors like Boeing, Raytheon, blah, blah, which other industry or sector of the economy has profited handsomely off the slaughter campaign that Israel has carried out in Gaza?
The defense industry.
The tech companies.
And the tech companies.
Right?
Look.
And Vance is a product, a creation of a big player in the tech industry, Peter Thiel.
Palantir is the surveillance state. And Palantir talked about how they, basically experimented in Gaza.
Yep.
And so they'd like to bring that Frankenstein over here. No, thank you. No, thank you. I mean, JD Vance, if he wants to prove that he's not in the pocket of those guys, good news. He's got a lot of power. He's the vice president of the United States of America, arguably the second most powerful person on earth. So are you gonna do anything about it? If you don't, I have a very tall glass of shut up juice waiting for you in 2028.
That's right. Yeah, all I've seen from JD Vance so far is his regurgitating and parroting of everything that the Trump administration has been doing and getting heat for. So when it comes to Venezuela, right? Oh, anti-interventionist JD Vance really spoke out against that, right?
No, he didn't.
Except he didn't. Yeah.
But he was slightly hesitant, according to Axios.
Was he though?
Okay, guys, by the way, look, it's not like we're saying, okay, he doesn't agree with the left, so JD Vance shouldn't be the nominee for the Republicans. No. I'm saying be true to your own principles. So is there anybody on the right doing that? Sure they are. Tom Massey is, Marjorie Taylor Greene is. So I can show you exact examples of someone sticking with their right-wing ideology, their anti-war ideology, and all the things that they ever said. And we disagree with them on other things and some of the things that they're still consistent on. But at least you go, okay, there's a person I can trust means what they say, even if I disagree with what they say, right? But don't tell me, oh no, you should trust what I say because I secretly thought it in my head.
Right.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.